Coming up on Fulton Today, Superior Court takes a new high-tech approach to inform potential jurors. We'll tell you how it works. And police hit the road in a new vehicle to keep you safe. Fulton Today is next.
From the Government Center in downtown Atlanta, you're watching Fulton Today with Shania Chavis.
Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody. I'm Shania Chavis. We begin with news that jury duty in Fulton County has gone high-tech. Gone are the days when you had to wait until you got to the courthouse to fill out that very long jury questionnaire. Well, now the court will actually text you about your service. Superior Court Jury Clerk Phoenix Gaston is here now to explain. Welcome to Fulton Today.
Hi, Shania. Thanks for having me.
Well, there are some very new and exciting developments to help Fulton County jurors. Tell everybody what I'm talking about.
Sure. Fulton County Jury Services recently implemented an online option where citizens who receive jury summonses can go online to complete the summons questionnaire, request a deferral, disqualification, or an excusal. We also implemented a juror text notification system where citizens who receive summons can opt in to receive text messages about their service. To check out these new features, please log on to www.fultoncourt.org.
Now, there was a recent consolidation between State Court and Superior Court Jury Services. How might this affect the citizens of Fulton County?
It was important because we wanted to stress jury service as being an honor and not a burden. We know jury service can be a little bit overwhelming. However, we have streamlined the process to make it more convenient for the citizens of Fulton County.
And why was it so important to make jury duty more convenient?
It will have a very positive effect on the citizens of Fulton County. Citizens will no longer be summoned twice every 18 months. Now they will receive one summons every 18 months.
And you know, oftentimes there's some misconception about jury service. Tell us some of the most common ones.
One common misconception is that you have to be a registered voter in order to be called for jury service. Being a registered voter is one of the eligibilities to be called for jury service. However, if you hold a Georgia driver's license or a Georgia ID, you can be called for jury service. Another misconception is that if you're called in for jury service, you're automatically placed on a jury. Once you arrive for jury service, you still have to go through the voir dire process to be selected on a jury panel. Another misconception is that if you don't show up for jury service, there is no consequence. Fulton County has implemented a failure to appear program in which you will receive a letter if you fail to appear for your service date, and you have 5 days to respond to this letter. If not, you will be served a show cause notice.
And let me get your final thoughts.
If you are called for jury service and have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email us at info.juryservices@fultoncourt.org.
All right, Phoenix Gaston with Fulton County Superior Court, thank you so much for your time.
Again, thanks for having me.
Now, if you have questions in general about jury duty service in Fulton County, call 404-612-4599 or log on to their website at fultoncourt.org. Transitional housing professionals lay out the many options for men, women, children, and families who have no place to call home. The Office of Emergency and Transitional Housing team held an informational session on some of the housing services available in the county. According to the latest figures by the Metro Atlanta Tri-Jurisdictional Collaborative on Homelessness, near 7,000 people are living on the streets, in shelters, and in transitional housing. The informational session focused on a number of options.
If you're a homeless male, we have Jefferson Place. If you're a homeless woman with children, we have Springdale Place over in the East Point area. Before our housing opportunities in reference to people who may be at risk of becoming homeless, in one of our homeless shelters and looking to move out into permanent housing, the criteria is that you be working, and the other eligibility criteria that you have to go through in order to qualify for housing.
The Office of Emergency and Transitional Housing offers job assistance, medical, and substance abuse treatment services. You can find out about county homelessness and housing information by calling those numbers right there on your screen. An increase in animal cruelty and abandonment cases has Fulton County inspectors in court every Friday. So what's behind this increase? We recently had a chance to go to South Fulton and sit in court with Code Enforcement Animal Control Inspector Tasharma Myrick. Welcome to Fulton Today.
Hi, Shania. Thanks for having me.
Well, first, let's talk about the many cases of animal cruelty and animal dumping in Fulton County.
Yes, there's been a slight increase in those cases of dumping or abandonment, I prefer to say. And we attribute that to the economic downturn that all of us are experiencing. We have found that there's been abandonment at our facilities such as our parks and recreation. We've also found it at our shelter and even the parking lots, such as the South Annex, over off of Fulton Industrial, even at our central maintenance facilities.
And give some examples about the types of cases that you're talking about.
Some of the cases involve animal beating, starvation, and even entering dogs into dog fights. Those are the cases we see most often. But cruelty comes at different levels. Abandonment, which we have already spoke on. Then you have hoarding. Hoarding is when a person can't properly feed, house, and medicate a large number of animals. We've also have cases that involved horses that were malnourished. Some of them were found dead, some we've had to put down, and some we even had to turn over to the state for their care.
And what about fines and punishment for these kinds of violations?
In most cases, the fine is between $50 and $500. With cases involving cruelty, that fine could reach up into the thousands. Sometimes the judge orders punishment of community service. Failure to comply with that judge order, the defendant may find themselves in jail.
And you know, folks want to know what happens to the animals in these cases.
It depends on the circumstances, but most often those animals end up at the shelter. After behavioral assessment, those animals usually end up being adopted out, going to foster care, or sent to rescue groups. And as a last result, never the first, some of those cases end up being euthanized.
And before you go, anything else you want to add?
Yes, if you have a pet that you can no longer care for, please give us a call. We have a new program out there called the Surrender Counseling Program, where we work with you to provide a solution to the future care of your pet. Just give us a call at 404-613-0358 or check out our website at www.fultonanimalservices.com.
All right, Tasharma Myrick with the county's Code Enforcement Division. Great information. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Now, if you see wild dogs, animal dumping, or cruelty to animals, please just contact the Code Enforcement Tel line immediately. You can also check with the Fulton County Animal Services Division. Well, public safety is getting more community friendly. The police department has 2 new 3-wheel vehicles, also known as Segways. We tagged along during a recent training in South Fulton. The patrol vehicles will be used at concerts, community events, and shopping centers.
We can get out, we're right there, you can see us, we can see them, we can hear things, we see things we might not see while we're driving in a car. Overall, it's just a great tool for getting us into the public and getting us out where we need to be.
These vehicles also allow officers to be more approachable and accessible to the public.
I think it's a valuable tool that we can use at the parks for concerts, and we can use in the shopping centers during the winter time, during the high crime times of the year, during the holidays.
The 3-wheel vehicles are environmentally friendly, and that means they are powered by batteries and therefore release no emissions into the atmosphere. The county's first responders get a special thank you from the 2012 NFC contenders. The Atlanta Falcons invited Metro firefighters to their training camp in Flowery Branch. The invitation was the Falcons' way of showing appreciation for the life-saving service these men and women provide.
It shows the commitment of the Atlanta Falcons organization to certainly the community as well as public safety.
The firefighters were served lunch and watched the players during a special practice session. It was quite an experience for the first responders and for the players.
It's always the real heroes, out here today, and they're watching us do our thing, but, these are the people that everybody depends on. And so to have a chance to say hello and see them and to tell them that we're thankful for what they've done is special.
Members of the football team visited several fire stations in Gwinnett last year, and in 2011, they stopped by 3 Atlanta stations. So, of course, we're working on getting them to one of our state-of-the-art fire stations. And still to come, county commissioners and citizens celebrate an important civil rights anniversary. It's a part of our District by District coverage next.
Watching Fulton Today.
Fulton County Commissioners approve a moratorium on long-term land use, and North Fulton seniors enjoy jazz under the stars. Here's this week's District by District coverage.
We begin in District 4 with an evening of jazz under the stars. Members of the Dorothy C. Benson Senior Multipurpose Facility got a chance to listen to music from a live band, and they were serenaded by jazz vocalist Gina Great.
We like to give our seniors a variety of activities and things to do here at the Benson Complex, and we love to celebrate the arts. So tonight is our opportunity to celebrate jazz and what the contribution has given to our community, and have our seniors have just a good night, listening to jazz and enjoying some socialization.
The free event was sponsored by the Friends of Benson Incorporated.
There's so many things that wouldn't happen if we had to wait for Fulton County to do it. Not that Fulton County is not responsive, but that money has to go a lot of places, and the Friends of Benson fill in.
The group is well known for organizing activities and fundraisers to enhance the senior center's programming. Back in July, the nonprofit organization donated funds to the county to purchase a bus and a driver for the seniors that are always on the go. In District 5, youngsters learn about careers in the aerospace industry. It was all a part of the Tuskegee Airmen Aviation Career Training Summer Program. 27 students visited Delta Airlines for hands-on training in the aviation field during their summer break. They got a chance to sit inside of aircraft simulators and experience what it's like to take off and land a plane day or night and in hazardous conditions.
For a child who may have been told that you're too stupid, that you don't have what it takes, once a kid soars an airplane and flies that airplane by himself, what I see is a different child. When he walks across that ramp after soloing that airplane, it's though he can now challenge the world.
There will be more programs like this offered when the Aviation Community Cultural Center at Brown Field opens in May 2014.
We are deeply appreciative to the Atlanta chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen and to the commercial pilots who work with this summer camp for young people.
County officials and members of the community celebrated the start of construction at the groundbreaking ceremony earlier this summer. The center will be a community gathering place that will focus on the history of North American aviation, training for aviation careers, and performing and visual arts. This $5 million project was funded by the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, and it was approved by the Board of Commissioners in 2010. District 6 Commissioner Joan Garner joins one of many celebrations commemorating the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington and the famous I Have a Dream speech. The commissioner spoke at the Atlanta Global Freedom Expo, where the theme for the week-long tribute was jobs, justice, and freedom. Commissioner Garner spoke about her memories with the King assassination and the March on Washington.
And I was saddened by his assassination.
According to the Congressional Academy's website, Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech was instrumental in the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965.
The King Center is right here in the heart of District 6, and we are here to show, Fulton County is here to show support, along with many others, the significance and the importance of that momentous occasion.
Fulton County has joined in the tribute of Dr. King's historic march and speech. There are several events and exhibits all this week at Fulton County Libraries. Go to www.afpls.org to see the listing. And finally, in District 7, Commissioner William Bill Edwards sponsors a resolution with the safety and welfare of county citizens in mind. The Board of Commissioners passed a resolution to reject applications for land disturbance and building permits on undeveloped commercial properties located in residential areas. The moratorium will last 120 days and will expire December 5th, 2013 at midnight.
The Planning and Zoning Department is going to go out and they're going to reach out to these landowners and simply sit down. We're going to do them in lots of 10. Simply sit down with them and say, listen, things have changed quite a bit since you've had this zoning. Two things can happen. Is the zoning still suitable for commercial? Number one. Number two is, can it coincide with the existing residential homeowners? Number three is, can it also be done with the new traffic conditions that may exist?
According to county officials, certain types of commercial development in residential areas could have a negative impact on traffic and residents. The board advised the Department of Planning and Community Services to rezone commercial properties in residential areas based on the county's long-term land use goals. For more information, contact the Department of Planning and Community Services at 404-612-7800. With this week's District by District coverage, I'm Darrell Peak.
Thank you very much. Now you can catch more of your commissioners at work all this week with the rebroadcast of the Board of Commissioners meeting right here on FGTV. And when we come back, taking a bite out of childhood obesity. Stay with us.
You're watching Fulton Today.
Portions of the following segment are part of the Fulton County Common Ground Initiative. Common Ground, the county's comprehensive solution to the problem of health disparities in the community.
Well, Georgia's kids are getting a little healthier. Once ranked second in the nation in childhood obesity, now Georgia is down to number 17. Here to talk to us about the good news is Dr. Patrice Harris. She is the Director of Health Services. Ma'am, welcome back to Fulton Today.
Hello, Shania, and thank you for having me. It's so good to be here to share some encouraging health news.
So, Doctor, tell us, what specifically does this CDC report show with respect to children?
Well, Georgia had the second highest rate of childhood obesity, the second highest in the nation, and this report shows that we have dropped down to number 17. So that is encouraging news, and we're glad that we're getting healthier, but we want to drop even further. We'd like to get to number 50, but we do want to stop and celebrate that we are getting better as regards the rate of childhood obesity in this state of Georgia.
And how do you think some of the county's programs have helped to contribute to the decline in childhood obesity?
Well, in 2009, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners passed a resolution directing the county to look at our efforts to reduce health disparities. We know there are disparities in the areas of high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. Well, all those diseases are related to obesity, and certainly if children are obese, they have a greater risk of developing high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes later on in life.
And what about our community partners? How has that helped?
Childhood obesity is about medical issues, but it's also about socioeconomic issues, those social determinants of health. We know that where you live, where you work, where you play, where you go to school can affect your overall health. And so we are bringing to bear the county resources and the resources of community partners to address health disparities, and that includes addressing childhood obesity.
And any advice to parents who are struggling to get their child to eat a little healthier?
Well, that's always a challenge. Parents should, first of all, model what they expect. It's important for parents to make meal preparation and meal times a family affair. Grocery shopping, going through the grocery aisles and looking at food labels is one way to encourage and teach our children to make healthier choices. So it's a constant struggle for parents, but I think modeling the behavior, including the children in some healthy nutritional choices, can go a long way.
And of course, we'd like to get your final thoughts.
Well, we are certainly glad that Georgia is moving in the right direction. We have dropped from second to 17, but we have a ways to go. And so the county will continue to bring our resources to bear, to work with community partners to continue to address the issue of childhood obesity.
All right, Dr. Patrice Harris, Director of Fulton County's Health Services. Always good information. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.
Now, the county's premier youth facility, the Oak Hill Child, Adolescent, and Family Center, specializes in working with health issues facing our children. The staff can be reached at 404-612-4111 or at oakhillkids.org. Now, one way to ensure that you have nutritious food is to simply grow it yourself. Cooperative Extension Services is recruiting volunteer master gardeners. The agency is holding a series of information sessions throughout the county. Co-op Extension is hoping interested persons with a love of gardening will use their talent and training to benefit the entire community.
We have only a few extension agents in Fulton County. So what the master gardeners do, they'll take the information that we cannot take out because of budget shortfall and because of lack of extension agents out into the community. So actually they are our hands and feet extended. Well, we're talking about anything to do with agriculture and natural resources information, gardening, environment. So we do school gardening, community gardening.
The sessions are taking place September 3rd, 5th, and 6th at 10 a.m. at the Central Library downtown. On September 4th and 11th, information sessions are being held at the North Fulton Service Center on Roswell Road. Now, get in touch with our master gardener, Grantley Ricketts, by phone at 404-762-4077, or you can just simply send him an email at grantleyricketts@fultoncountygA.gov. Eating well helps keep cholesterol levels in check, but that's not the only factor to keep in mind. September is Cholesterol Education Month, so here's what you might not know. Cholesterol is a fatty chemical that's part of the lining of the cells in the body. There's good and bad cholesterol. The bad, or LDL, can accumulate, thicken, and clog the arteries. Clogged arteries can lead to coronary heart disease, the #1 cause of death in the U.S., but there are risk factors you can control.
Blood pressure, smoking are the two most important ones we look at when also thinking about intervening on cholesterol. For the most part, the other risk factors aren't really under much control. You can't control what your sex is, how old you are, or what your family history is, but all those things need to be brought together in considering what to do and whether to do anything about the level of blood cholesterol.
Visit one of our 8 health centers to have a cholesterol checkup, and be on the lookout for health screenings at Fulton Library branches and senior centers. That information can be found online at fultoncountygAhealth.org or afpls.org, or by calling the Office of Aging's Starline. And still to come, want to tap into your creative side? We'll tell you how to do that when Fulton Today continues.
You're watching Fulton Today.
County residents are invited to cheer on Fulton's workforce in its annual RunWalk event. The 4th annual Fulton County Family 10K Run and 5K Walk is just around the corner. Just as in years past, county employees and their family members celebrate a day of health. This year's activities will focus on preventing childhood obesity.
The Kids Zone is part of our observance for Childhood Obesity Month. So we'll be offering activities targeting youth. It'll be like a 100-yard dash. We'll have hula hoops, we'll have jump ropes, we'll have nutrition information, but the whole Kids Zone area is definitely targeting our youth this year.
Meanwhile, there will be another race for the community, the Go Healthy Community Walk Run.
We are calling all the runners, the walkers, if you participate in any physical activity, we would like for you to come and join us.
Both events start at 9 a.m. on Saturday, September 14th. The employee run walk will start and end at the Fulton County Government Center. The race will go through the streets of downtown Atlanta, and the Go Healthy Community Walk Run is at Welcome All Park. And finally, if you'd like to learn how to paint or dance, then one of Fulton's art centers is for you. Fall art class registration is now underway, and residents have plenty to choose from. Dance, painting, and theater are just some of the classes offered this fall.
If you're interested in self-expression, whether it be music or dance, or you're interested in being creative, if you want to draw and get started on it, and you've always had that little desire in you and you want to give it a whirl, this is the place to be.
The session is 8 weeks long, and residents can register for classes online at fultonarts.org until September 17th. For more information about any of the classes offered during the fall, you can call 404-612-5780. And before we go, our reminder that we'd like to hear from you about the stories and programs right here on FGTV. Go to our website to take a survey, or you can email or call us. The number 404-612-8317. The email address is fgtv.feedback@fultoncountyga.gov. You can also follow us on twitter.com/FGTV, friend us on Facebook, or watch us on YouTube. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis. Thank you for joining us. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.